Sojourn is an Overwatch 2 character, not Overwatch 1. New cosmetic items are coming. Changes to competitive as well. But ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to the channel. I'm Salosa, and I'm not just saying random silly things at the start of a video, because what we're going to do here is go over an interview that PlayStation EU performed with Aaron Keller and Michael Chu on Overwatch 2, because there's information here I've not seen anywhere else. So let's get stuck into this. So what I'm going to do throughout this video is I will read off some of these quotes completely, but some of them we'll just kind of gloss over and just take the key points out of. So the first question they were asked is, if there was one objective for Overwatch 2, what would that be? And Aaron Keller's response essentially boils down to this. Story missions tell an engaging narrative about how the heroes of Overwatch respond to a new global threat. Additionally, hero missions provide a deeply replayable co-op experience through a wide variety of locations all over the world. Players will level their heroes and use different elements to modify their abilities and power levels. Now, none of that is actually new, but that's just confirming exactly the direction of Overwatch 2. It's a PvE expansion for Overwatch, and that's basically what it is, right? My only issue is hero missions, and I guess we can get onto this a little bit later on in the video. We know what hero missions are essentially supposed to be like Diablo adventure mode, where you see a map, and on the map, you can go to locations that you've been to before. So Blizzard are going to reuse old maps. We've seen confirmation of this when they showed the hero mission trailer, which showed Ilios and it showed Route 66. But the objective will change on each of these maps. So one might be a horde defense, one might be like protect the commander, one might be an assassination mission, stuff like that, right? And no doubt you'll go around the map, you'll complete these. When you complete them, you'll probably get a loot box or some sort of reward. And that's kind of that. The big one is here, will this be enough to keep people playing that mode? And that's going to be, well, that's up to Blizzard, right? They kind of did it with Diablo 3, and can they do it with Overwatch 2? We'll have to wait and see. They then went on to ask Michael Chu, what is the in-universe story you're aiming to tell with Overwatch 2? Now, Michael Chu's response here essentially is, yeah, we're going to tell the future, the current story of Overwatch. We're not focusing on the past anymore. We're finished with that. We've done that with the archive events. We've done that with all the cinematics, with the initial cinematic of Winston performing the recall. All of that was leading up to this point of Overwatch 2, where they can take the story forward. And I'm excited for this because I was one of those guys that was, yeah, it was cool seeing the cinematics, but it was all stuff in the past. It was not relevant, really, to what's going on now. I want to be playing a game that feels like it's a living, breathing, developing world, not a game which is always focusing on the past. So this is good news, but then we kind of knew this anyway. So what about the spice? Well, let's get on to that now. So Aaron Keller was asked, what are you aiming to add to the gameplay mix on the battlefield with the new heroes? Now, Aaron's response here is pretty funky because it might indicate a completely new faction with the launch of Overwatch 2. So check this out. We've got lots of heroes in the works currently for Overwatch 2. We can't get into who they exactly are or what their gameplay might be like, but they will help round out the world of Overwatch and give us new gameplay mechanics we have not yet seen in the game. Overall, Overwatch 2 will be offering players new gameplay changing ways to play our heroes in hero missions. For instance, we like to give the example of Reinhardt's talent called Epicenter, where instead of a cone effect for his Earth Shatter ability, it becomes an Earth Shatter with a full 360 degree effect around him. Now, this is really cool, but also slightly worrying. So let me just break this down. The first paragraph of that quote is really interesting because he's saying they are going to introduce new heroes that will help round out the world of Overwatch. Now, to me, that sounds like something you would say if you were going to introduce a new faction or a lot of heroes with the launch of Overwatch 2 that plug holes in the story, plug holes in the world, or just do something major. So this could be, I mean, okay, I am reading behind, sort of between and behind the lines, I guess, quite a lot here, but that's a really interesting way to phrase that. Instead of just saying, oh yeah, we're working on new heroes, which is generally what you get from Blizzard, why would he say they are introducing new heroes that help round out the world of Overwatch? Could be a new faction. Now, the other paragraph from this quote is kind of worrying, but I don't think what I'm about to say is the case, or at least I hope it isn't. So he's saying that hero missions are the ones that feature the talents. Now, I played through the story mission, the Rio de Janeiro at Blizzcon, and you had talents in that mission. And in fact, the talents you only had access to the level 1 talents. They really changed the gameplay direction. So when I was playing Mei, one of the Mei talents would make you freeze everybody around you when you come out of ice block. Now, that was really good on the hard difficulty mode, but on the easy difficult mode, you may as well take the other talent, which just allowed you to do more damage. So there was that kind of trade-off there. So they must have these talents in the story missions. I can't see them not or only being in the hero mission. So yeah, but it is kind of a bit concerning how that was worded. So what about Sojourn? Now, yes, there's a lot of speculation. Who's the next Overwatch hero? Is it Sojourn? Is it Echo? How many heroes are we actually going to get before Overwatch 2? I mean, you guys go crazy in the comments below with a prediction. We've heard things like 1 or maybe 2, and it's like, oh dear, when is Overwatch 2 coming out? Oh my lord. Anyway, PlayStation asked Michael Chu about this, and they say this: even though Sojourn is set to debut in Overwatch 2, it seems that earlier versions of the character appeared in prior cinematics. Do you know back then that she would eventually be a main character in Overwatch 2, or did her status in the game evolve over time? Now, PlayStation are actually making a bit of a presumption here, aren't they? Like, Sojourn's going to debut in Overwatch 2? No, I've not seen that confirmed anywhere. Maybe I just haven't seen it, guys. I don't know. You let me know in the comments below, but I don't think that's been confirmed. But Chu says this: Sojourn has existed as a character in the Overwatch universe for many years now, even before the game released. She's a central figure to the Overwatch organization and a critical character moving forward. She's made appearances in different stories we've told lately, but she will be extremely important to the events that take place in Overwatch 2, and we are so excited to finally be able to tell her story. So is Chu confirming that she's an Overwatch 2 hero there? I don't know. I kind of was hoping we'd get her before Overwatch 2. Maybe we still will. So what about Overwatch 2 competitive? Well, Aaron Keller was asked this: is Overwatch 2 competitive play fundamentally similar to Overwatch 1, or will Overwatch 1 players be greeted by an overhauled and updated competitive experience once the Overwatch 1 and Overwatch 2 clients officially merge? And Aaron says, the competitive experience in Overwatch is incredibly important to us. We are continually working on it and have plans for changes to it with Overwatch 2, but aren't ready to share any concrete details just yet. However, current Overwatch players and Overwatch 2 players will play together in the same competitive play environment once Overwatch 2 launches. Now we know this. And also, I want to say, Aaron is literally the best at giving a PR response. Okay, cool. Let's move on. So, what are you able to say about the story of Overwatch's world with Overwatch 2 that you weren't able to say with previous methods? Now, this was directed at Michael Chu, because obviously he's the lead story dev on Overwatch. And he says this: 2 things that immediately come to mind with the story missions will have a more traditional way to tell a story in the Overwatch universe, a complete story with beginning, middle, and end. In addition, we finally moved the story forward after Winston's recall, and we hope to continue to push events into the future in the stories to come. This is cool. He kind of said this in an earlier quote, but it's cool. We are now moving forward with the story, and I'm happy for that. Aaron Keller also comes in, though, and gives a little bit of extra info. Overwatch 2 also gives us the opportunity on the tech side to tell more story. The maps are almost times 2 or 2 times larger than regular Overwatch maps. Okay, that's cool. The Rio map was pretty big, but Overwatch maps, are they really that big anyway? I mean, I don't know, but bigger maps is better. I'll take that, especially for PvE stuff. They've also got way more advanced technology to show dynamic weather, lighting, explosions, and more. We like to say that our maps are almost another character in helping us with the Overwatch 2 storytelling. Each story mission will come with an intro cinematic and an outro cinematic as well. We've partnered with our teammates in the story and franchise team to help build out many cinematics for a story mission. So this is cool because I remember do you guys remember the Junkertown one with Roadhog and Junkrat? That was amazing. That was made by their cinematics department, and it was made by forget his name. Gregory Terra. Oh my god, I forgot your name. World of Warcraft guy. Anyway, so he did really cool machinima stuff back in the day, and Blizzard hired him, and he works for Blizzard. He made that with his team, and it was fantastic. So we get more stuff like that, just like the intro for the Rio mission as well. I've no doubt that those guys made that as well. That's going to be really cool, yeah? So you can see the format they're going for here. Big map, times 2 the size of traditional Overwatch maps. You get the intro, sets up the story, you play through it, and then you've got a finish to the story, and that's it. Then you wait for the next mission. So what about seasonal events? What about all of that juicy stuff? Well, this actually is a pretty good question that PlayStation asked Michael Chu. And so they say, is the story / PvE content in Overwatch 2 going to follow a similar format to earlier seasons, seasonal events in Overwatch 1? Or are we talking something more akin to a full-on single-player campaign? How long have you wanted to put the story in Overwatch? Right. So Michael Chu here says, we have always considered Overwatch as a universe that we want to tell stories in. Overwatch, the game, this, you see, this is really, like, he doesn't sound, this is me now, but they always refer to, like, referring to Overwatch and then Overwatch 2, but it's still in Overwatch is so confusing. The fact it's called Overwatch 2 is just so confusing. Why is it not just called Overwatch Second Strike or something? And then you could still call it Overwatch. Everyone would still call it Overwatch. We're all going to have to title our YouTube videos Overwatch 2 now. We're an Overwatch 2 channel. We're Overwatch. Oh, it's so confusing. Anyway, I digress. Let's move on. So Michael Chu goes on to say, was the first expression of this universe, but we have been experimenting with PvE in the annual Archives events and have certainly heard from the community that it's something that they are interested in. With story missions in Overwatch 2, we have the opportunity to make good on this and explore the Overwatch universe in new ways. We like to call the story a story experience. Not quite a single-player campaign in that you will be playing the story alongside 3 other players in co-op. Players will experience the story together with their friends. Okay, so he doesn't answer if these are going to come out like seasonal events. I think they probably will, ladies and gentlemen. I think they'll come out more often than seasonal events, or they come out in between seasonal events, possibly. So we kind of get double the amount of events in a way, and you get a new mission. And it's the next part of the Rio mission, or some other hero's story mission, or whatever, every couple of weeks, possibly. If that's even doable. Maybe one a month we get, or something like that. It's interesting that it refers to it as a story experience instead of a single-player campaign, because I'm sure that they're probably going to design these, right, so they link together. They're not just going to be random one-off missions that are happening all over the place. There'll be some sort of narrative going through all the missions, surely. So once there's enough out, let's say there was like 10, 12, 20 missions, you could play them back-to-back, and effectively you've got an Overwatch single-player campaign, maybe? Maybe that's why they're not calling it a campaign, because maybe they literally don't have the missions yet. Interesting stuff. So Aaron Keller then chips in on PvE progression and PvP progression. And I kind of touched this or teased it at the start of the video, and this is beautiful. So he says, currently, PvE progression and PvP progression are entirely separate. We don't want gameplay changing talents and abilities to give an unfair advantage in PvP. We're still exploring what players can earn in PvE and building out the progression system for that. Our goal is to make a robust and meaningful progression system that feeds into our hero missions, where players can play and replay for many hours, or as their main mode of play after they complete the Overwatch 2 story. We love all of our heroes and will continue to make cosmetic items for all of them with the release of Overwatch 2. We're still early to talk about what cosmetic items might be available in Overwatch 2 or how those systems might change. We can say we have many options for cosmetics in Overwatch 2. Now, you know what? I'm taking this as they can do, imagine having weapon charms. You see these in a lot of games. Apex Legends have got them now. Rainbow Six Siege has got them. What about different bits of apparel you could attach to a hero? What about, like, if you could equip a different visor or pair of goggles to Tracer, or different earrings to Tracer, or you can give Genji a different hoodie? So you've got to remember with Overwatch, you have to keep the silhouette the same. So you need to be able to quickly glance and go, okay, that's Reinhardt over there. So you can't make him a completely different shape. But if you had adornments you could add to your heroes, like imagine having like achievement medals, like, hey, this guy has got whatever achievement that might be difficult to get, so you get a special thing you can stick to your character. That stuff would be super cool. Also, I'd like to see different sprays in the game as well that maybe reflect what you've managed to achieve. Yeah, I know we've got top 500 sprays, but maybe they could expand on that. We all know that Jeff doesn't like golden weapons as well, so I hope they get rid of that. But yeah, really cool. Also, this could mean that we get things like weapon skins as well in the game. That would be super cool as well. Not just golden skins, because they're terrible. But imagine being able to use, like, you know, I really like the Tracer Punk skin weapons. I'd like to use those weapons with like a different Tracer skin. Like, you know what I mean? Like a lot of the skins that I use in the game, it's not based on what the skin looks like visually, because I don't see that when I'm playing the game. All I see is the weapon model. So I pick based off the weapon model. So it would be nice to kind of swap those things around. But what's interesting here is he says we have many options for cosmetics in Overwatch 2. This might be in relation to the engine being upgraded as well, so they can just simply do more stuff. Really interesting quote, that is really, really interesting. And finally, Aaron Keller was asked, aesthetically speaking, are there any character model changes that folks may have missed? And he says, I'm not sure if anyone knows this, or everybody knows it, but Lucio's new look is dynamic to which song he's playing. His hair and the visual effect on his suit change in colour and beat he plays. His hair also glows in the dark. Pay special attention to gameplay footage of his suit changing between speed song and healing song, and whenever he drops the beat with his sound barrier. We're continuing to update almost all of the heroes with new looks for Overwatch 2, so we'll have plenty more cool changes to each of our heroes in the roster. So what, almost? So some of the heroes just going to stay the same? I can't see that. Surely the entire roster is being rebuilt or redesigned, right? Anyway, guys, let me know what you think about this in the comments below. I thought this would be super cool to go over because there are nuggets of information here. Let me know. Well, yeah, how do you guys read these quotes? What do you think is going to come of Overwatch 2? One thing's for sure is we need to get more info on Overwatch 2, and I hope that we start seeing a lot more info coming out next year. Especially early next year, and then we get like big updates coming out that are like development updates for Overwatch 2. Tell us what you're doing, Blizzard. That'd be really cool. All right, guys, I've been Stylosa. This is Unit Lost. If you guys enjoyed the video, then remember you can like the video, and you can also follow me on Twitter, which is @Stylosa, and it's @Stylosa on Instagram. And if you do really like the video, guys, do like the video because it helps a ton. But if you subscribe to the channel, click the bell, and you'll get alerted to when all the videos go live. And as ever, I'll do my best to keep you guys updated on everything going on in the Overwatch universe. I'll catch you on the next one. Doodaloo.